they suggest that we can't watch our dirty linen in public. So whatever the report says, whatever is contained in the Michael report, we cannot put it out. Do you agree with them?
Well, I have analyzed that particular position with two different, dispositions. Now, the first part is that it is a broadcast strategy that I don't want to get in public. But that in itself could create, on the other side, a lot of suspicion. Because within the party itself, there are factions. And if you listen to the communication that Dr. Baumia has put out there, then it presupposes that the report indicts certain individuals within the party. And the current leadership wouldn't want to antagonize or wouldn't want those kinds of information to come out into the public domain. Because obviously, events have orchestrated. And once those events are put out there in the public domain, everybody can easily match those events with particular individuals. So these are the two edge swords that I see this idea or decision of not putting out there in the public domain the report. Now, the other thing too is that because of these passions, everybody is now jockeying for a future position. And you will have to understand and appreciate the fact that obviously will have to involve the Kennedy, it will have to involve the Baumiers, involve other personalities who in themselves, are positioning themselves for that. And so if you don't let out particular information, the suspicion that will be created is that you are trying to shield a certain group of persons from public ridicule. And that in itself, you are creating an atmosphere for certain individuals to still lead the party without they taking the real flack that they deserve.
Because that was what I was wondering about. Why is it problematic for us to point out to people that you got this wrong, got that wrong, and put it out in the public domain for the public to perhaps maybe add more flesh to it so that the person understands that this kind of conduct will not help your party and will never vote for your party when you still go on this tangent. As long as we continue to hide it, will the people not repeat the same thing when they give it the opportunity again?
So you see, definitely, those who are at the helm of affairs, as far as the party was concerned, the party was in government, they are definitely going to take the bigger part of the flack. Now, they are not ready and willing to let go of their stranglehold over the party. They are not. And they have a lot of resources at their disposal. And to put that in the public domain, it is either the party foot soldiers or the delegates so-called could decide against Dr. Baumia coming back. They could easily decide against Dr. Baumia. So you could see this morning I was thinking about something. And I looked at the tangent that Dr. Baumia went out there with his communication of outlining certain issues that led to the defeat. In that particular statement, he denied the fact that it couldn't have been religious affiliation or tribal affiliation that could have led to their loss. Now, that narrative, I have come to the understanding that what purportedly is within the report, is in the report, so to speak. So now he comes out to outline those issues that in themselves indict his former boss, the former president, indict certain individuals within the party during the time of their government. And of course, he cannot in any way expropriate himself from the whole of this. But what I see in his strategy is the fact that he cares no more about putting the former president under the bar. After all, in terms of relevance, in terms of clout, in terms of approval rating, I think that he is better off ridding himself of the influence of former president. That in itself equally works against him. So he feels that he's better off doing so. So that is a political strategy. Because a president that his approval rating as of November 2024, according to Global Impact, was just 22 or 24, I don't think that he has any role, any fresh role, any new role to play in your future campaign agenda.
I see. That's quite interesting. But then I'm wondering, who does this refusal to put out the report in the public help? Is it him?
Yes, he's part. And of course, it will go a long way. That is why the communication history is that former President Akufo-Addo did more in this country. Because the membership themselves, the party faithful themselves, will laugh at me without any hesitation. Because if Dr. Baume is talking about arrogance of power, whom was he referring to? Is the president of power? When we talk of reshuffling, that they did not do, who was supposed to do that? Is it not the president? And probably you, the vice president, in consultation? Who initiated this cathedral standard? Is it not Poriata and co? So you see, I don't know whether it is not going to be politically suicidal on the tangent that is going. But I see the strategy that is put out there as a rebuttal of this religious and tribal affiliation agenda, which within the party, I said that going forward, that after the election, I said that the main problem of the MPP will be Dr. Baume, because they wouldn't know whether to sidestep him or to continue their forward looking with him. Because there are a number of factors that really work against him. And he himself rebutted the truth. The religious sentiment or affiliation and the way manner he even conducted himself in the lead up to the election was so hypocritical. And people read in between the lines and they voted against him. Don't also forget that where he's coming from, he has a minority tribal affiliation. And in as much as we eschew tribal politics, which is very dangerous, there are some people who take decisions of that nature or affiliate themselves with a particular party just because they see quite a number of their tribal groupings within that, and so they feel at home. So you cannot write off those, factors. And if you look at these two factors and look at the conflict, at the top then obviously it doesn't come out as a candidate that can easily win national elections. So, as I said, he is now the biggest problem of the MPP. And the idea that MPP wanted to rid itself of the agnostic tag, so to speak, then they brought him. Now, looking at his performance, they are at a crossroads, whether to, keep him there or bring somebody else. Now, at this point in time, bringing somebody else, who could that be? The only grassroots popular candidate is Kennedy Japan. But he may be popular within the party, but I don't see him as someone that Ghanaians will want to make their president. Because I always say that I see his presidential ambition as an afterthought. Because if he had really wanted to become president, I think that in the public domain, he would have learned how to conduct himself. And these things will come to harm, and that is what we've been seeing.
Because today's discussion is on, because there's a lot of things to talk about, including what you make of Kennedy Agyapong's proposal. Let me ask you that. What do you make of Kennedy Agyapong's proposal that amnesty be granted to all party members, those who are aggrieved left the party, and some of whom who have been on interminable suspension. Their suspension has lasted for years. Nobody has taken the steps to revoke it and actually try to bring them back into the party.
Yeah, so that is why I suggested in the public domain that the title of the talk, which is what is the title? It has escaped me.
It's a thank you tour.
The thank you talk.
Yes.
Now I said that thank you tour is a miscommunication. Linguistically, it is not appropriate. And it says that you lost elections, and you say you're coming to thank me. Then it means that this thank you thing is out of cynicism. It's born out of cynicism. And there's nothing sincere about that. What they should have done was to say a unity talk. Unity talk. Because the party is disintegrated. There's no unity within the party. There are too many factions within the party. So you go on unity talk. So that tangent of Canada, Japan is by far more mature than putting out there those things that Dr. is putting out there in the public domain as being the cause of it. It is a bit premature. They should rather be looking at the unity talk instead of a thinking talk. So what Canada, Japan said is very important. Now, if that agenda should hold, and the likes of Alan and Co, Afoko and Co come back into the party's fold, that would not be that easy for Dr. Baumann, to be frank with you. Because in the lead up to selecting a presidential candidate, they will have to, select, obviously, from the branch, to the constituency, to the region, the national. And if you really want to come out on top in terms of the presidential, you must invest in all these processes so that you will get quite a sizable number of people who will be really ready to vote for you if they do not undertake any reform. But it appears they are going to take some reform.
Now, briefly, Doc, to conclude.
I have other interviews.
Yes. I just wanted you to help us. The question we are putting on the table this morning is, this is Dr. Baumann telling us why they lost the elections. Do you agree with him, or you have a set of reasons, different set of reasons as to why they lost?
Well, it couldn't have been all that he outlined. There are so many of them talking about. I agree with him with that level of openness, putting out there these factors. But obviously, he's forgotten that some of the things that he said in the lead up to the 2016 election also affected his credibility. So he, as a candidate, had a credibility crisis. That is something that I put out there in the public domain, and I realized that many people had latched on it, including the NDC communication, fraternity. Dr. Baumann lacked credibility because of the things that he said against Mr. Mahama. And when they got the opportunity to run the affairs of this country for 8 years, you see that he himself said that they played back to them some of the things that they said. And that in itself was a campaign message enough for the industry. So it is not just merely the cathedral that. And he tells us that, in the lead up to the election, so few days they increase fuel. You have been increasing fuel prices on a regular basis because of this regulation. So it couldn't have been that dying embers, of the period that people change their mind to vote against. No, the cost of living was quite high. Food inflation so high. So definitely, they were not in a good position for Ghanaians to give them another mandate.
Doc, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Jonathan Asante Otchere, a senior political science lecturer at University of Cape Coast, and also a political analyst, speaking to us this morning on the issue of the new patriotic party. 47 minutes past 7 is the time. And SM. Yeah. Interesting things that were said by Doctor. You agree with him that those things led to the loss of the MPP?
Now, Sena, MPP lost the when they were Ghana, one who said, no elbow, and I say, one who say,
It was coming.
Oh, na sad no bobaya and ubi so mo akra they will tell you. Some of them will tell you. So obi o kan okrepa will tell you, oh, at the end of the day, who say na ebobobo. Who say na eba. Along the line, who say about 20 day na enkoye, but just that Takashibi na near the edebe. Your person the phone. I say the end of the ebe far. And for send na the end come. Na I say I didn't enkoye, but no more dream will be say.
A moment. Let me speak to Mr.